Hey y'all, it's Megan here, and I figured maybe I should show y'all how to make these mantles. So here we have some tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, and I'm just showing you guys the pieces. This is my side. Um, I'm cutting these that you see with the line in half with this table saw here that I have. The rectangle piece there is going to be the top of my mantle. And those blocks up there at the top are just extra pieces to make the opposite side. The blocks I'm cutting are to go in the gaps as you see for the side piece to make it a full rectangle. And I'm just showing you guys how I'm gonna cut them all down before I glue them all in place. If you don't have one of these, they do have saws, hand saws, and miter boxes at Hobby Lobby in the hobby section. So you don't have to buy a table saw, which this one wasn't very expensive from the hardware store. But like I said, if you don't have this, these are pretty easy to cut with a hand saw. It's a lot more work though. I will say that. So you guys, I'm going to just take these and keep on cutting until I have them all. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to place them the best that we can. And then we're going to glue them together. Now, this is a little time consuming, but like I said, with this little tabletop saw, it's a lot faster. It's a lot easier. My lines will be a lot straighter versus me doing this with the hand saw. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch me do this. Not completely. Just wanted to show you guys the process. Now that we have all of these cut, like I said, we're going to take those and put those in between the gaps on the sides of these blocks that I already have lined up here. And we're going to glue those in place. Don't mind me, I'm just cleaning the sawdust off of my saw. Trying to clean up my mess a bit. These two sides are for if you do the fireplace with the shelf as a mantle, you'll need to make the bigger sides. And if you're gonna do it without the mantle on the top and just want a normal flat top, that's what this is gonna be for. And you're gonna take these 3 blocks off the top. I'm gonna show you both styles. I just wanted to let you guys know. And again, I've cut up all my little pieces that are going to go in between here, and I cut up enough for the one with the shelf on the top, because that's going to be my go-to more than likely. But if all else fails, we'll have the shorter one that'll just fit around the top of the fireplace. Stay tuned. Once we glue the pieces together, they should look like this. Try to find brick pieces that keep your side pretty even. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, for the look. But if you do the uneven, you can always just glue the uneven ones towards the back, because you're not going to see it and it's going to be open, so that I can always remove it from around the fireplace or the lantern so that it can be replaced. And I'm going to glue these together, and then I'm going to come back and do the same thing with these, and then I'm going to come back and do a shorter version so I don't have to back and forth. I'm not going to make y'all watch me do both. I'll just show you both once I'm done. And again, I still have to glue together the top for the shorter version as well. Also, another note, use a square. It helps keep your project lined up, and it just makes it easier. I got this one from Dollar Tree years ago for when everything was still $1. I'm not quite sure. They might be $1.50, $1.75 now. But they're worth the investment if you like to craft. And also, as far as my table saw, if you don't have a table saw, you can buy hand saws out of the craft section or hobbies at Hobby Lobby. It's usually around where they do like the model car stuff. And they have a handheld saw, and they also have the little block that you put your piece of wood in to keep it steady, in the miter block, I think is what it's called. But yeah, like I say, you guys, let me glue this stuff together and I'll be back. Okay, so we have our two shorter sides all glued together, and we have our top all glued together. Off camera, I was doing some measurements and I ended up adding 2 more tumbling blocks here on the side, long ways, just to make this long enough to go over the top of my fireplace. I'm still debating on putting, once this is put together, because this is going to be put together like this. There'll be a little overhang off the side and from the front. I'm still debating on whether I want to put blocks. Let me find them. Across the top here, like this, basically. I just do 4. Pretty sure that's all I would need. This last one is fighting me. Okay, so, like, basically, I would take 4 and put them together and just glue them across the, oh, Jesus, I'm knocking everything down. The front, like so. And then we would put the 2 sides like that and glue that together, and then that'll give me a cover for the top of the fireplace, which I think I'm gonna do, but let me just glue these 4 together and I'll be back. I'm literally just gonna take these and use this and glue them together like this. Let them dry, and then I'll come back to you guys. Okay, so ideally this will be flush with the back here, like so. And then again, we're gonna take our 2 sides and they're going to sit here. Okay, Houston, we still have a problem. This is still not long enough. So, I think, which makes that perfect, because I kind of hated the fact that this side looked like this and then this one didn't. So I'm going to add 2 more blocks to this side. You guys, I am trial and erroring this as I go. So just make sure that you watch the entire video before you go through trying to make the project, because things may change as they go. Because like I said, I'm gonna add further to give it a stick out more, and I may even end up because there's a big gap here. I don't know if you guys can see that, probably not. There's a big old gap between these two right here. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to cover that while we're at it. But ideally, this. So we're gonna add 2 more blocks on this side. This is supposed to go here. Like these. And then the other side, of course. So I don't know. I don't like the way that sticks out. So I want it back here. But my idea is to be able to just slide the box over the top of the fireplace and then also be able to remove it. And I also want to be able to do that with the shelf. But I did a terrible job of showing you guys earlier because it was already stuck to the top of that. I stuck tape to it trying to see how that would work. But since we're here and we're talking about this, ideally with this one, what we're going to do is try to even this out as much as possible. And I think I'm going to bring it to the front. And I'm sticking this down, but it won't be like permanently stuck down. This was just to keep it steady for me to measure. I'll pick that up later. And then these were the taller set of blocks that I did. And ideally, these will sit, because there's a little lip here, and then the, it's a little, and this is going to sit on this ledge, not on this little notch right here. So it'll hit that and that. And it should line up, as you can see, with the top here. And I'm gonna figure out how to glue that together. But then I'll also have to take possibly 2 or 3 of these. I think 3. And it'll have to be a 4.5 or block job. And we'll do 3 4.5 block sets to bring down in the front to cover up to here in the front. And then this will just be the top of the mantle, which if you use this makes it really decent Barbie height to where my doll can just stand next to it. She stands next to it and she can lean her elbow in there. I'm being very dangerous right now. Let me grab her. Hold on, I'll show you. And you'll kind of get a partial sneak peek of her outfit there. But as you can see, it comes up perfectly right next to her. So that's kind of the idea, and why I'm going with the shelf too. I'm giving myself options because the other version will be short. I can double this top and make a bigger one to sit on top of it. And then we'll have to probably add another block set to the top of this to do that. So like I said, guys, I'm trial and erroring. We're gonna figure it out, and when I'm done, it's gonna be awesome. I promise. Okay, so from the front, this shelf is kind of giving me the blues because I knew you guys couldn't see it, so I'm one-handing this. Like I said, I was thinking about sitting it there. You'd have to even it on both sides. That's about as even as it's gonna get. But what I was thinking at this point, I wanted this box to sit, like I said, there's a lip here, and then there's that drop off there, and then I want this to sit next to this, on this, and then hold this up. But what I'm thinking of doing is taking my Dremel and cutting this bottom part off of this shelf and just keeping this piece, because it's not going to line up the way I want it to, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to fill in those sides. And I'm not trying to make this a hard and stressful build, but I'm still thinking. I built a fireplace out of Jenga blocks maybe 2 years ago, maybe longer. If you guys give me a second, I'll pull it out and I'll show you how I did it. But I'm thinking about building a front to cover that too. I wanted to keep this exposed because I liked it, and that was the whole point of me wanting to build the box. But like I said, I want it to be up here, and I wanted it to kind of be like flush, even like that with it. But as you see, it kind of, it angles out. And in order to hide that, I'm thinking I'll have to build a front to the fireplace, and I'll show you what I mean. And the only reason I'm not using my Jenga block fireplace is because I like the flicker in this one, and I want that effect for my Christmas diorama this year. But give me a second. It's down here by my feet under the cabinet. Let me get my other fireplace out and I'll show it to you. Hold on. Okay, so here's the other fireplace. It's a tad bit dusty. Here's from the side. You guys can pause and count the blocks if you like. This is from the back. As you see, I had to add on blocks here, like I did on the top, or I'm doing on the top of this one. And it does light up. I don't know if it still works, but it does light up. Probably doesn't. We'll turn around and find out. The other side. And no, my batteries have died. It does not light up anymore. But those are orange fairy lights. I just have to change the batteries. It did make the log rack and glued the sticks together, wrapped the lights around it to make it look like an embery fire. Added hooks to the front so you could hang things on, but it's huge.
First we forgot to pay for something.
This is it compared to my Barbie. Like I said, the size is awesome. But this is what I mean by building a front for the other one. And then just having the glass peeping out of the opening. Excuse my child back there. Like I said, guys, I'll figure it out. Trial and error. This was just too wide for what I got going as far as my diorama. Could I make the diorama bigger to fit the fireplace? Yes. But then that would be no fun of me buying the lantern. So, we're gonna figure it out. Okay. So, these are gonna be our front pieces, which will fit. That's tape, y'all. Don't pay it no mind. Here. Sorry about this filming. But that's gonna fit there like that. And to solve our gap problem that we're having in here, I cut these little pieces of balsa wood or balsa wood, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna slide those right in there. So I do think, I said this is gonna go here like this. I'm gonna cut this little skinny piece here and shove it in this crack here. Even out this space on both sides. I'm gonna glue this together. I'm gonna cut them just the length of the brick. Like across here. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the skinny piece. And like I said, stick it in that gap. And then I'm gonna glue my front pieces on. And these are 2-hole and then a short brick, because I had to cut it down to make the bit. So trial and error, guys. Trial and error. But we do have this glued together. I did add to the back. And like I said, as you can see, that little piece will fill in that gap. And this just sits on top like that. So we get in there. We get it somewhere. Okay, so this is a side and a side panel. And I'm going to put the sharp brick towards the bottom. And this long will be at the top. And when you glue those together, if you do like I did and use the sticks that I did, the smaller one's on the outside, the larger flat one is on the inside, and it has a little bit of a lip right there. And we want that side up when we glue. And then, like I said, our smaller brick at the bottom of our front pillar. And we're going to run a line of glue along here. And glue these together with our square to make sure they're even. Like this. And we're going to do that for both of the sides. Okay. It's the next day. I let it dry overnight. I glued the panel on the front here, line up this, and flipping that over. Again, 2 sticks are glued on the top to fill in that gap at the top here. And that's going to sit like that. And then this one's going to sit like this. And of course it's not going to stay there. And then this is going to go in the middle like this. So it's not going to fit over it perfectly, but it'll fit over it good enough. I don't know if you guys can see that. Where's my terrible camera angle here? But I'm gonna pull these side pieces over here like this, and then this will just be able to slide over and sit on top of this. I'm still wondering if I should do something across the bottom, but I'm trying not to get outrageous with this, y'all. But my mind just won't let it rest. It keeps telling me add more, when the whole point of this project was for it to be simple. Let me glue these sides on, and then it'll be open in the back. I'll show y'all in a sec. I've glued the two sides. I'm gonna let them dry, and then we will be back. And we will figure out if we're adding more or being minimal. Knowing me, it's the first one. But we'll see. In the meantime, in between time, I am still struggling with the wall shelf scenario of the covering of the fireplace. I did take the Dremel and cut the shelf like I said I would. Kind of regretting it now though. So, I don't know guys. This is what I'm gonna have to figure out too. We'll see. So I think this is how we're gonna do this. Of course, I'm gonna have to build down across the front here and along the sides like I did with the other one. And what I think I'm gonna do for these gaps is I plan on painting them all both white. I thought about staining. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to paint them both white to look like white brick. And I think I'm just going to fill in this gap with hot glue right here. As you can see, it's gapping. Fill those in with hot glue and wood glue. And go from there. I may be able to even put popsicle sticks. This is a coffee stir stick. Kind of like that to cover. Let's try that side. wood, so I can use that too. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do, guys. So let me build at least my 4¼ across, and I'm gonna say like 2 down, just so we can hide this here. And then we're gonna also do pillars for each side. So we'll be back. We went to basswood, balsa wood. Like I say, y'all, I don't know how you say it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Tell me in the comments. But we went with that, and we just cut that down and glued it on the edge like that. And once that dries, it'll sit in there like I showed you guys, and that should cover up that gap. And I can still fill it in with hot glue, or just pack some wood glue in there and let it dry. Either way it goes, everything's a drying, waiting game. Have this in the front, that one in the back, still drying. So yeah, I'll be back. Alright, so on the larger one, I have glued pretty much the frame together, except for the top piece. I left an overhang with the little quote-unquote pillar parts to cover that raw edge in the front. And like I said, I have these on the corner. It's not pretty in the back, you guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see the back of it. It's going to be against the wall. At least that's my plan. I'm just waiting for this glue to dry. And I'll be back when that dries. I'll probably be tomorrow. So yeah. Alright, I got all this glued together. You see that gap right there? Let me show you how I'm fixing it, because I'm not adding another row of blocks. Take this, and I'm gonna glue it right here. And then after I glue that one in, I'm gonna take a longer one, and I'm gonna glue it across the front like this. And that's how we're gonna fix that. As you see, it just slides on and off. And this just pops in. So yeah. Progress, not perfection. Here is the version with the shelf as a mantle before I painted. And here is the shorter one before I paint them. Now that they're dry, let's get to painting. Let's start painting. I'll be using this Waverly White chalk paint. And I'm going to paint everything you can see. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to paint this unless I have to. We'll determine that after I've done painted these two. I still haven't attached this. I think I might just leave it loose and not glue it down. I don't know, guys. I'm still debating. And as then, if you guys noticed, I broke my lamp back there. I had to change the batteries in it, and I broke the stand off. It looks like a snowman. I think I might turn it into a snowman and find another base for my lamp. This is why I always have too many projects, not enough time. Okay, I'm going to paint. One coat of paint. Probably will do two. Just letting it dry. Alright, y'all, and then here we have it. This is just a reveal of my fireplaces. My room was not done at this point. Y'all do not judge it. This is the shorter mantle with all my decorations around my fireplace. I like it. It's cute. It's giving. But in the end, this is my finished result, and I went with the taller one, which I did not record, but I also added a little wood decor piece to the front of it. You'll see when I zoom in here. That I just had in my stash, the little fleur-de-lis there on the front of the fireplace. It just added an extra little pop. I did end up gluing the top of the mantle in, which again, I did not show on camera, but I just wanted to show you this. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching.